The Lore Forge.
A puck of blue-grey stone scraped along the edge of pointed steel as Enoch tended to the edge of his sword. A small campfire popped and hissed, defying the night's chill, painting the trees that encircled them with light. Enoch's silence was grim and unsettling. His intense focus on his sword troubled the young man. Exchanging an anxious night for an anxious day, Odo was unable to sleep, despite the exhaustion from constant travel. In a contest between weariness and fear, it was unclear which would prevail before the arrival of dawn. At present, his nerves had the upper hand. It wasn't just Enoch and his sword that troubled Odo. The events of that day still weighed heavily on the young man's mind. Their trek brought them to a forest where they halted, Enoch demanding that Odo lay another one of his wards. This time a ward that could kill. Odo protested at first, concerned that an innocent might unwittingly run across it. When he did, Enoch scowled. "Rather an innocent find your mark in the dirt than bandits find us unawares. Lay the mark, boy, or remain here." And it was clear by the determined expression on the mercenary's face he would be true to his word. But now Odo sat contemplatively by the fire in the strangeness of the wilds, pondering the consequence of his actions. Just beyond the fire's glow reigned the harsh dark of the night. Wrapped in his cloak, he grasped the hem of the garment, pulling it taut across his frame in an attempt to stay warm. The soft hoot of an owl sounded in the distance, a subtle reminder they were not alone in the forest. Tall trunks surrounded them like the legs of giants, a great host closing in, and yet remaining still as if keeping watch. One more quiet scream rang from the steel of his sword as Enoch took another pass with the sharpening stone. A sound Odo feared that might call some unwitting traveller from afar, one that might cause them to stumble over the deadly trap he laid earlier. It was an irrational fear, given the distance that lay between the pair and the forest fringe. Still, he fretted over the power the wizard entrusted to him, and the ends to which it had been employed. Uses contrary to everything Odo had been taught. That fact alone troubled the young man the most. "Tell me, boy, how well do you know the wizard?" Enoch flicked his thumb over one edge of his blade, testing the result of his labour. Odo's wide eyes looked up from the flames, pearls amongst shadow and flame. Fear seeped into his expression as the question was asked. His gut filled with an acute unease as Enoch honed his blade, asking questions that reeked of suspicion and hidden malice. "Captain?" "You heard me, boy," answered Enoch, flipping his blade around and preparing to work on the other edge. Those passionless eyes scanned the bright steel as he once more took up the puck of stone and ground it along the edge. "The Magus is a godly man. That I know," answered Odo, reluctantly. Words came off feeble and uncertain from his tongue as fear began to clutch at his heart. "Let me tell you what I know of godly men," interjected Enoch, rotating the puck slightly in his palm. He pushed it along the length of the steel in another pass. The stone growled and hissed as it tore away at the metal. The weapon may have been a typical blade for a man of his profession, but as Enoch sat there near the fire, his back against the trunk of a tree, the sword he held looked like it was 7 feet long.